At the tail end of your time with Rupert and Fox, you wonder if your life or career had peaked. What was it about Dion mentioning QVC to you that completely changed things?
I'd left Fox because I wanted to see if I could start something on my own, and I had a blank piece of paper with not an idea in my head. I didn't want to have an idea in my head. And I thought I want to create some space between me and all the people who wanted me to run another movie company or do stuff like that, and I didn't want to repeat myself. And so I was kind of wandering around the country, and Dion calls me and she says, "You have to come to QVC in Penn." I said, "QV, what? What is that?" She said, "It's this home." I said, "What is home shopping? I didn't even heard of that thing." She said, "No, you have to come to Pennsylvania and see this thing." And so I wasn't doing anything. I had an idea in my head, and I go to Pennsylvania and I see in a space about this size, this convergence of televisions and television sets and computers and telephones and this kind of primitive convergence of media. And I saw something that was an absolute epiphany, and I don't use that word lightly, which is I had only known you use screens for telling stories. That's what screens were for. I'd never known interactivity, and there I was seeing it in its primitive emergence at QVC, where you'd put up a product and people would, through a computer or through a telephone, through telephones, but managed by computers, would order it and it would be delivered to you. That interactivity, using screens for something other than telling stories, knocked me cold. And then, serendipitously, a few months later, I was offered to buy QVC, and I said, I now know what I'm going to do. And again, everybody in the orbit of Hollywood thought I'd truly lost my mind. What was I doing? But I knew what I was doing. I didn't know how, but I knew that this interactivity, this is 3 years before the internet, was being used by humans, by common folk. And I knew that it was going to change things. I didn't know how, but I wanted to participate. And that was just the great good luck of my life.
How do you take HSN within a year from losing $70 million a year to making 60?
Easy. I knew how to do it. It wasn't hard. It was just the company.
Come on.
No, it wasn't. The company was mismanaged. And I'd had this experience the year earlier with QVC, so I kind of knew the tools. But it was not, that's easy. Turning a company from loss to profit if it's in a business that isn't, to the winds, is not a hard trick. But what was just this great good luck is this is now 2 years before the internet. And along comes the internet, and I kind of had fluency in my fingertips to a degree. So I was able to attack all the opportunities that were to come once the internet came along with e-commerce, because I was in the primitive part of e-commerce, and that made the next, that created $100 billion of value.
And 9/11 happens. How close was Expedia to almost not happening because of that?
Well, travel stopped.
Right.
9/11, there was no travel worldwide. So Expedia, this travel business, had no revenue. It was like dead cold. And someone in the room, wasn't me, said, if there's life, there's travel. And I said, yeah, I'm going to bet on that. And so we bought the company even when it had no revenue.
More success with Match or
yes,
Tinder or Hinge?
we were very early in internet dating, and we bought Match, tiny little company in Texas, and built it. And then we invented Tinder and kind of dominated that whole world of online dating.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's the home services part of your business that kind of funds some of the riskier stuff.
Well, we built up this interesting business model of kind of the anti-conglomerate, which is a multiplicity of businesses. Some work, some don't work, some fund them, others are successful, some are unsuccessful. But the fact that we were operating so many different businesses, and then we'd spin off to the public ones that had established themselves, so that's kind of the anti-conglomerate of the conglomerate. It just was a rare business model.
But it worked.
Yeah.